Hello everyone, let's talk about the Taurus North Node and the South Node in Scorpio transit. Then it's a really exciting time because it's a time where crises is being released. And the Scorpio South Node is deeply connected to letting go of making big dramas and releasing the need for toxicity in our lives. So there's a shift in simplicity when it comes to the North Node in Taurus. Now, what's also really exciting is the fact that Uranus is also direct in Taurus. So we're going to have North Node and Uranus energy combined in conjunctions. And this is going to shift a lot of things where we understand money and beauty and the way that the world treats Mother Earth, because Taurus is related to nature. So we're having a, even though Taurus is a comfort zone and it's where it's simple, Uranus is progressing that simplicity. It's progressing our comfort zones. And in the right mindset, you can see how this will help to expand the ways that you may have been restricted. So you may have had a lot of trauma and crises around financial matters. You know, globally that's been the case, but also in your personal lives. Wherever Taurus and Scorpio hit in your chart is where this is going to be very distinct to you, and how your crises and simplicity is having a transformation. Uranus is ruling over electricity, the internet, networks, and the way that we kind of work with each other from different spaces and areas of life, the way that we connect. It's that air energy, right? So that communication is really important here with Uranus, and it creates a new way to network and communicate through our beauty, our finances, and the way that we, aesthetically take care of Mother Earth. So I think that there will be a lot of focus on more connection to the earth, right? With Jupiter and Pisces, we might see more, talks about the sea animals and, sea life. And there's basically a lot of progressive healing that wants to come to the earth when it comes to Taurus. And so these simple things are the things that we may have taken for granted. We haven't gone towards. We've been more focused on, getting money for financial status. These are the things that we find with the South Node in Scorpio. So with Taurus, we are learning more about being more resourceful. With the North Node, we're going more towards our own resources. What is it that you have already that's valuable and worthy to be utilized and to be put at a price even? So definitely check all my videos on Taurus, because I have videos about branding yourself through your Taurus, and various different videos that I'll link to this video. So looking at this through the house systems, let's go ahead and go through the houses shortly and just talk about how this might be looking in that regards. Okay, so if you have Taurus in the first house, this is about going towards your body and your personality in a natural way, really looking at how it is that you present yourself and make an impression with people based off of how you look and how you are, your personality around people. The need here, or what may have been, more in the social sphere of how you have been introduced to people, may have been through your partnership, right? That's coming from the South Node in Scorpio. Through your partnership, you have been introduced to people, and that has created sort of dramas and crises and toxicities that you may have found. So this North Node is allowing you to move forward with more control over how you introduce yourself. And this comes in a way more peaceful, valuable, and worthy way of being. And then you can apply everything else with what I've said already in the introduction to how this would apply to the first house of the body. So even when it comes to your resourcefulness, like maybe it's not about getting things from other people to take care of yourself or to dress yourself. Maybe it's about looking at what you have in your closet and creating a new look based off of what you have. This also would work well with Taurus in the fifth house. So that's that idea. So you just take everything and you apply it to that first and seventh house. You'll be taking with you. Okay, so I should have put this in the intro, but the south node is where you take things with you towards the north node. So you go towards the north node, as that's Rahu, the dragon's head. Okay, and the dragon's head can be extremely hungry, and sometimes, the north node gets too overboard. This is why you have the balance of the south node. So it has an energy of releasing, but it's also about taking the things that are important, those little nuances, with you to on your journey towards the north node, which will really help to balance you when you use this according to your chart. So what this means is, for Taurus in the first house, right? Your south node is in the seventh house, which means either you're not with the partnership anymore and you're taking with you those lessons so that it becomes enriched into your self and how you present people, or you are just taking your partner and leaving behind the past, or leaving behind the impressions that you made before, or leaving behind the crisis or the drama that you were a part of before, but you're still together and you're taking your partner with you. So that's the idea of the south node and how it could be showing up for you. All right, so let's look at the second house. Taurus in the second house is your finances. Okay, so this is directly related to financial matters, and you may have had a lot of drama and crises over how you shared your resources with other people and your partner or other partnerships. And so you're going to find that you're going to be called to use your own talents, your own artistry, your own things that you already have to make you your own voice, right? Your own voice, to make you be valuable and make money off of those things that you already have. Okay. And so with the south node there, you may be taking your partner's resources, but not your partner, right? Because that's the eighth house. You might be taking you might be taking your partner as well. So similar to the seventh and eighth house, because they're both related to partnerships. You might be taking the thing that you won, you might have, it's like, because the eighth house is also a house that has Mars in it, so it may have been a wins or losses. So you might be taking your wins or your losses and using them towards making your own thing. You also might be taking financial partnerships, like people who have platforms for you to make money off of, people who have shown that they can help open a network for you to make money. You might be taking those people with you into the second house, where you're crafting and creating your own product, and kind of refining your brand, because Taurus is where our brand is. So refining your brand through your products, through the things that you have, and discovering the simplicity of making money versus the trips and complexes and power plays that happen in Scorpio when you're doing it with other people, where you have to figure out how to control people and make people do as you say and make sure people are held accountable. These are things that, may be exhausting with you. So you may be releasing those things and allowing yourself to make it more simple, make it about just what what you have, and nothing less and nothing more. And so this could be also transit where money is coming in for everyone. Money is coming in through the Uranus energy of Taurus, especially progressively. If you're on that progression, you're really going to be able to ride the I would say wave, but it's not really a wave. It's like, it's a reconstruction of money and how we value it and where it goes, and just the actual way that we exchange it. So this is deeply related to Taurus in the second house. So you might really be also discovering new and progressive ways that you are making money, which is allowing you to spend more money. And you may be making big, risky, because Uranus is also risky. So you're making big, risky choices with your money, with this north node going towards the second house, because the north node is hungry and it's aggressive. There won't be It'll be more about how do you tame it and not go too far. That's something that happens here. And it's in a place where we are comfortable and we want simplicity, and it's okay to go for simplicity, but there's a little bit of risk to get simplicity that we find. Okay, so Taurus in the third house is related to like the sounds and the tones of how you speak, the way that you speak, the aesthetic around how it sounds like, how your voice sounds like, because this is a house of communication, and it's also it's connected to like the goddess, which can be connected to like instruments as well, and so because it's like the communication of of that beauty that is happening with Taurus, the art and the appreciation of beauty. So how you speak is really the thing that you're moving towards, and also the skill in your ability to persuade and translate concepts, ideas, and things like that. This is something that you'll be going more towards with the North Node being here, and you'll be letting go of the drama of like people's beliefs, people's religious states and religious identity and your own religion identity, and fighting over what is the right path to take and who has the better culture or the better perspective. These are the dramas that were happening with Scorpio in the ninth house for you. And so what you might be taking with you from that is the lessons of how to actually be objective in the world and how to remain in a more positive, higher mind state due to the chaos that you've endured. And so now you can take that and enrich your communication, understanding that language, tones, understanding and comprehension do create simpleness for clarity and conversations that really create possibilities versus turmoil and toxicity. Okay, so Taurus in the fourth house is connected to our home. Okay, this is the place that you live, the thing that is shelter. Also can be your car. The cars and transits are, they go from the fourth to the third house. So everything with the third house is also about, having a new car, but which is kind of cool. All right, but in the fourth house, it might be having a new home or upgrading your home in a way that you use what you have already to just make it better. It's definitely about, finding where you can, create moments, create artistic, creative moments in your home. And this also might be where you express your creativity in your pride or nationality. This might be something that you also bring to the home, like bringing more artifacts or things that are connected to your, where you come from, your hometown, your nationality, your ethnicity. These kinds of things might be creating this simple life, this beautifully simple life, and aggressively fighting for your peace in your home versus the craziness and the turmoil that may have, in the drama that may have been happening in the 10th house. The 10th house is where Scorpio is if you have Taurus in the fourth house. And this is where you're releasing kind of like all of your attention towards your career. And all of the power plays and the strategies and the figuring people out, figuring what they're really trying to do and not trying to do. Are they trying to sabotage your career? These kinds of things that might be happening, that may have been happening. And so you might take with you the lessons from those things. You might take with you certain people who are co-workers, secretaries, even bosses. You might be walking away with certain people that, you basically went through the jungle together, but you're moving towards a more simple lifestyle and making more money maybe through this more simplicity, this lifestyle in your home. And how meaningful it is, how emotionally stable it helps you to be, will be the thing that you almost can be addicted to. The drive to go towards this will be strong. And of course, with Uranus being here and amplifying this energy as Uranus is just moving fast through 2022 in Taurus, this could be progressively, ways in which you're multiplying, or helping a lot of other people enjoy the same type of way of living. It has an energy of genius and some sort of aha revelation of how it's really not that hard to live in riches. It's not about necessarily chasing the reputations and chasing the legacy. Like, the richness of life can come from the way that your home is built and loved and cared for, creating this simple mind, this ability to be stable in your emotional and nurturing state. And you'll see that maybe everything becomes a lot easier across the board, as you venture into the home life. Now, Taurus in the fifth house is a really cool creative space. And it's also a place also where you'll find singing and, a lot of the places where Taurus is in your chart is connected to that. But this is a place where you're expressing yourself wholesomely, creatively, little projects or big projects, actually, things that are, out of this world, over the top, larger than life, projects, artistic endeavors, talents and expressions that you've honed in since your youth, and going towards this more simple place of being in your creative cocoon versus the drama and whatnot of the expectations of the world and society and your fans and your followers and what everyone else wants you to do and how everyone else sees you as useful to them and what the world needs, and putting all of those things on your shoulders, all that pressure, all the power plays amongst circles of friends and social media that Scorpio is is in your 11th house. So this is a time where you're going to be able to just enjoy being in your own space. And this is a place where also it's like trying out different things, different, artistic things, dancing, painting, anything can be art, and discovering, what that means for you, how it brings you more joy, how it brings you more happiness, how it helps to bring in more romantic things and soften things up for you, bringing more peace into your life versus all of the fuckery that is happening out into the world. And that part will start to heal itself too as you move towards this. So you may take with it still your influence with people. You still may take that influence with you, but you're be leaving behind and releasing a lot of that drama. And you're going to see that people who are holding on to Scorpio or who have strong Scorpios, they're the ones who are really either still getting lost in the drama or being tested by it, being tested by the toxicity because of the pull there. If you have any Scorpio planets, you'll be having the South Node go over this. So now you're being tested. Can you release these things as needed, So Taurus in the sixth house is a simpler way of enjoying your work environment, how you make money in your workspace, how you serve in your workspace, bringing more pleasures and pampering to your daily schedule and more artistic, experiences to your daily schedule. So maybe going more to concerts, parties, and clubs, having a little bit more time to get a massage every few weeks or get your feet done or something like that. It's a place of using the Venus energy to amplify your work environment. So there could be, a change aesthetically to your work environment. So that's whether you work in an office or if you work from home, it could still, translate in that way. And so you'll be leaving behind the drama of being idle and not really doing much. You'll be leaving behind the space of kind of, of taking a break. It's going to be a time where you're called to work and not take as many breaks. So your breaks might be something that you take with you, which is like time for yourself or 15 minutes here or a day off or certain phases of the moon, you want to take a break, but you can't take long hiatuses. It's not necessarily a time for rest because there's a lot of like toxic things that happen when you kind of sit and don't do much. There's a lot of things that start to occur and drama that starts to happen. And if you find that drama is happening, it's probably because you're being too stuck somewhere, too fixed on some sort of emotional, trigger, or, pain body or something like that. So it is about a health. It is about health for you, but it's about real organic day-to-day simple health. Your morning routines, your daily exercise, your daily walks, your uh, daily spiritual moments, your daily meditation, making sure you get enough sleep, but you're not in the bed all day, kind of things that are going to be more pulling you towards that kind of lifestyle. So you're almost like learning and embracing living like, you are a queen, a goddess, someone who is well nurtured and cared for, and Venus is really going to pull that out of you, or will exploit you, and you'll find that you're still walking around in your pajamas, and your hair is never done, and you're always doing these things that kind of sabotage you from that sabotage is coming from the 12th house. So that's what's happening there. So you might be taking the lessons of sabotage, knowing what are the signs for you that you might be entering a pitfall, knowing what your triggers are, honoring your triggers, knowing that the best thing to do if you are triggered, or how to avoid it, or how to just stay out of those frequencies for your health. Okay, so Taurus in the 7th house brings stability to relationships, and you may have been dealing with a more single lifestyle, singular focused lifestyle that has brought a lot of drama or toxicity to it. And so that's why the South Node is here in your 1st house. And so you might be taking with you still, your singledom, or your sense of independence, but emerging it with other people and having less fear and more trust, more simplicity in a relationship. Actually, relationships can bring you more peace and harmony at this time, especially ones who seem really committed, who seem like they're going to be consistent. However, with Uranus here, there is this very bizarreness to either the people that you're with or the way that your relationships are being set up, which do add still more simplicity to your lifestyle, allowing you to still hone in on your independence, but have that commitment, that possibility, that wish fulfilled, that vision fulfilled that Uranus really wants to bring. And you guys might find that you and your partner are on the networks together, or seen or known in that way, that people relate to you as a unit, like famous couples or something like that. And to go towards this it's going to have its tests and its challenges, but for the most part will create a more peaceful lifestyle for you, one that gives you the security and almost like the stability to know what's possible in love and commitment in the 7th house. Okay. Now in the 8th house, this is going to be coming towards a space of expression, but very raw sexual expression, and the simplicity of it versus the horror or the traumas of it. There's a simplicity in dealing with, because this is a house of psychology, so it's about dealing with the healing aspects of raw sexual nature, primitive needs, to combine with someone else, and the gift of exchange. And you're going to discover that when it comes to exchanging with people, that it's actually a lot more simple than you realized. Instead of all of the toxicity and the shame and the weird stuff that's happening in the 2nd house, where people are so focused on money, and they're so focused on the material versus the mental eruptions that happen when someone discovers their worthiness and discovers what is possible for them. So people see the dollar bills in the 2nd house. In the 8th house, we see the cultivation of where it all came from. Like, the idea of the creation itself is born in the 8th house through sex, through rebirth and death, right? Because through that process, you discover so many things about yourself, and then there's this need to express and create on a widely, sexual level, in the sense of you want to exchange ideas or your body with people in the eighth house. And so this could be very complex concepts here. But with Taurus here, it becomes very simplified. It becomes through a song, through a gift, through so many simple objects, simple moments in time that you create, simple revelations, because the Uranus energy is here as well. So it's these psychological revelations, but they're not like, maybe they're not body shaking, or maybe they are body shaking, but they're so simple. It's just like, wow, it wasn't as like difficult to get here, or the concept itself is not as difficult as I thought it was, and these shifts can actually bring you into a wealth that is very powerful. You become more of the trophy that is very valuable, very pricey, and so you can be your own basically product, and you put a price on yourself here. And so this is a very interesting space because it's flipped. It's basically, this is the space where it's naturally Scorpio, but you have Taurus here. So you're also still going towards Scorpio energy. So you are amongst the jungle. You still might find that you're taking some of that from the second house, which is you're still around people who don't get it, people who are money hungry, people who are greedy. You're going to have to focus on what hoarding looks like versus just making sure that you have enough. Like, you're gonna have to focus on that, and you might find that other people are showcasing more of the real, like, hoardingness or greediness, and having to learn what is right for you and what's not, and knowing those gauges and balances. And it will be different for everyone, based off of what you want for your life. But you'll be faced with those challenges here because it is oppositional forces on top of oppositional forces. But there's a simplicity here, a progression in simplicity, that if you just focus on that song, that one outfit, there's certain just simple moments that actually just make everything so much clearer as to who is really the valuable person here, and what their price really should be. So the ninth house with Taurus is going to be your beliefs and your faith, and you'll be coming into probably a more open-mindedness, but also simplicity with your spirituality that keeps you stable, because there's lots of opportunities to see things in different ways, and sometimes people get very attached to their beliefs or what they were taught. That's coming from the South Node, Scorpio, in the third house. People are very emotionally attached to their beliefs or how they learned what they learned. And you're kind of moving away from that and releasing a lot of that. You might be taking still the lessons, but you're not maybe taking as much of the emotional, attachments to them. Allowing yourself to be open that there are various ways that you can get to one answer, kind of idea, or knowing that everyone is just trying to discover who they are in the spiritual realm, understanding that everybody is on their own path but still on the same destination. And so this kind of observational space that you're in is way more simple than the craziness that happens when you get too confused in those emotional attachments to what you've learned and what your skills are and how important those things really need to be. Now, you might take some of your skills, but you also might open yourself up to new ones and new ways of being and concepts. Now, the 10th house Taurus energy is going to be simplifying your career. Your family lifestyle, your home might actually be where there is more toxic energy, where there's just a lot of emotional intensity, and you might be really releasing your time at home or moving away from your hometown or something like that, and thinking more about being in your career, the flashing lights with your name on it, the the billboard with your face on it, basically, and being more connected to who your image is. And you might take with you the struggles and the things that you overcame in your family and in your home. you might take those stories with you and make them into a brand even, that, makes you who you are, this famous entity that everyone knows now. You're here to learn how to be stable in the public eye during this phase. And Uranus is going to make you take risks for that stability. It's going to encourage you to take risks for stability, which is coming from the force of Scorpio. So you'll find that you're lost in Scorpio South Node if you're still getting into family fights and stuff, and it's pushing you out. Maybe somebody literally has to kick you out, for you to finally get that you're supposed to be moving towards this stableness, and you're taking along with you the lessons from those experiences from home. Now, the 11th house Taurus energy is really interesting because it's a social space, but it's not maybe as, it's partnering and it's a lot of people, but it maybe not as like fighting for status as as you might think. And so this is where you can find simplicity, that your social life becomes where people just accept you. It's a space where you feel like you belong. And maybe in your 5th house, unfortunately, because this is a house of joy, you're kind of lost there a little bit with drama. Maybe there's, just a lot of pain with being in a more solitude kind of space. There's maybe the feeling that, if you express yourself, that it will be, taken the wrong way and that people will be really scared, like, of you, or what is it that you have to say, because of the Scorpio, toxicity that's coming out and being released from South Node in the 5th house. So being around people might make you feel more simple and normal, may connect you more to your humanness and your beauty, allowing you to have more peace and discover peace through social experiences. And this is definitely like someone who may be like sex, drugs, and rock and roll in their artistry or in their joyous life, their party and wild style life, which it's like something may have caught up to you if you really can't release the 5th house, the Scorpio 5th house. Some sort of, toxic, addiction may have caught up or may be catching up to you here. And so what the 11th house brings is a space where you can, see your mirrors, see the different aspects of you by the different people that you meet in the different circles that they're part of. See the places of you that make you upset through other people's faces, through other people's ideals and wishes. This also might be where you're exhibiting more like support for other people, which gives people support back to you in a way that you weren't experiencing before when you were kind of in your own creative cocoon. So you may be taking with you still your creativity. You might be still taking with you your, your stories or your emotional core that creates, that is where you can create from, but making it way more supportive towards the people who support you, kind of idea there. Okay, so then now Taurus in the 12th house is having peace, sensuality, and enjoying the fall, like enjoying the simplicity of relaxing, of the resting period, of the period where you're not seen, where you're not always like up and moving and everybody needs you, or you have so many things to do on your to-do list. It's about choosing to take a vacation. It's about choosing to go on a long hike somewhere and tap out of the everyday world that is full of toxicity and power plays and sexual perversions and psychological traumas that are happening with Scorpio in the 6th house. You are going to discover for yourself that the more that you hold on to, like, I gotta work, I gotta make money, I gotta do these power play things, you might be like released from your job, fired, or something like that. You might have some sort of explosion, emotional crises or something like that happens in the work environment that might propel you and push you out, okay? And the reason that I use this energy is because where we have Scorpio and Capricorn is where we have ultimatums and punishments. And you know, you're gonna find this a lot here and in other houses too, but I don't know why for this one I wanted to mention like these ultimatums that can come from the sixth house, these punishments that can come from like Taurus and Scorpio in the 10th house. These could be, you know, these could be things that you're dealing with. Those would be the things out of the red flags that are saying it's time to take a break. It's time to stop, you know, and go take care of yourself. You know, go meditate, go do some yoga, go for a hike, go on a trip to another country, you know, tap out and stop doing this to yourself, because it's going to keep your health deteriorating and all of those things, you know. So there might be some spider webs in the you know, some cobwebs that you got to leave behind in the work environment, and discover that your work environment will thrive when you learn how to take a break and have less stressful things coming at you. So those are just aspects of this transit. There's so much that you could talk about, so much brainstorming around the Taurus North Node that's going to happen. So go ahead and comment down below what you think will happen, what aspects of Taurus with the hunger of the North Node, along with Uranus energy, crazy, bizarre, you know, Albert Einstein Uranus. Like, what is it that you think could really be occurring during this transit? And I'll see you guys in the next video.